Radhe Radhe, Dandavat Pranam. Welcome to Shri Radha Vinod Bihari Mandir, Gopinath Bhavan, Shri Vrindavan Dham. Shri Gurudev ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Rupanu Gauriya Guru Varga ki jai, Pratik Pavan Shri Nityananda Prabhu ki jai, Prem Purushottam Shachinandana Gaura Hari ki jai, Radha Vinod Bihari Ju ki jai, Radha Ramana Ju ki jai, Giriraj Mahārāja ki jai, Harinama Sankirtana ki jai, Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Shri Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bo. Is anything happening? Oh no. Ugh. What has she done? Radhe Radhe? Hare Krishna? Dandavat Pranam? Is anyone home? Anyone's home. Someone's home. Okay, we had this network unavailable thing pop up. I know what's wrong. Only I'm not able to see it because... Radhe Radhe. Now I can see it. Okay, sorry about that. We had this... And Sudevi got stuck doing the laundry, so when she comes, she'll have to yodel for you. Okay. And let's see, the volume is down. Okay. Hare Krishna. Dandavat Pranama Vaishnavas. Radhe Radhe, Radhe Shyam. And I don't know why the Tampur just spontaneously stopped either. But these are the ways of this world. We are not the masters or controllers of anything. Hare Krishna. Testing, testing. 1, 2, 5. Radhe Radhe. Radhe Shyam. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram. Whoa, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. It was working, right? I don't know what's going on. Okay. Please bear with me a moment. Let's see if I can figure this out. Somehow, oh, Bluetooth is off, Wi-Fi is on. Technical issues. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Okay, well, I have a harmonium here. Maybe everything will reset spontaneously. It is India after all. That's how things work here. They don't work and then suddenly you hit them enough and then they work. So that is called, in Hindi, there's a term for it, it's called jugar. Means you somehow make it work, rinky dink, it works. So we're going to start with Mangalacharan, page 1 of this book, Shri Gauriya Giti Guccha. Radhe Radhe, Hare Krishna, Haribo. Radhe Radhe, Haribo. Starting with Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam. Oh, Swastika Didi, you know it all too well, don't you? Okay, let's see if it's going to work this time. Radhe Radhe, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Oh, the speaker went off. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram. Okay, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. It's very strange. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Okay, think I may have figured it out. Apparently, the speaker was used today, and the volume settings on it were changed. So, okay. Voila! Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Thank you for all the ululations. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavaścha Shri Rupam Sagrajadam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhamvitaścha Om Ajnanatimiraghasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Shri Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Nārāyaṇa Namine Shri Krishna Lila Katane Sudaksham Avdaryamādhurya Gunashchayuktam Varam Varenyam Purusham Mahamtam Nārāyaṇam Vāṁ Namami Tridandiram Bhakta Shiromanim Cha Shri Krishna Padam Jagataikahritme Chaitanya Leelamrita Sarasaram Nārayanam Vāṁ Satatam Prapadye Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Śrīmate Bhaktivedānta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavani Paschatya Deshatarine Namo Vishnupadaya Gaurapresthaya Bhutale Shri Śrīmad Bhakti Pragyāna Keshavo Niti Namine Ativartya Charitraya Swashritanam Shapanine Jiva Dukhe Sagartaya Śrī Dāmodarāṣṭakam Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Śrīmate Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Namine Shri Varshabharavi Devi Dayitaya Kripabhaye Krishna Sambandha Vigyano Dayine Prabhave Namaha Madhurya Ujjvala Premadhya Shri Rupanuga Bhaktivedānta Shri Gaura Karuna Shakti Vigrahananda Mustute Namaste Gauravani Shri Murtaye Vinatarine Rupanugam Virudhapo Siddhanta Dvantaharine Namo Gaur Kishoraya Sakshat Vairagya Murtaye Vipranambhara Sambodhe Padam Pujayate Namaha Namo Bhakti Vinodaya Satchirananda Namine Gaura Shakti Swarupaya Rupananda Varayate Gaura Virbhava Bhumestam Nirdeshtha Sajana Priya Vaishnava Sarvabhauma Shri Jagannāthāya Te Namaha Vanchākalpatarubhyascha Kripā Sindhubhya नमो नमः। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेमप्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। हे कृष्णकरुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते। तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। जयतां सुरतो पङ्गो मम मन्दमतिर्गति मत्सर्वस्वपदम्बोजो राधा मदनमोहनो दिव्यवृन्दारण्यकल्पद्रुमः श्रीमद्रत्नागारसिंहासनस्थो श्री श्रीराधा श्रीवृन्ददेव प्रेष्ठादिभिः सेव्यमानुस्मरामि। श्रीमन्द्रसरसारब्धीवं श्रीमद्दत्तस्थितः दार्शन्मेनुस्वरैर्गोपी गोपीनाथश्रीस्तु नः। वृन्दाये तुलसीदेव्यै प्रियायै केशवस्य च कृष्णभक्तिप्रदे देवी सत्यवत्यै नमो नमः। पञ्चतत्त्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकम्। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद। चैतो दर्पणमार्जनं भवमहादावग्निर्वापनं श्रेयकैरवचन्द्रिका वितरणं विद्यावधूं जीवनम्। आनन्दमूर्तिवर्धनं प्रतिपदं पूर्णामृतास्वादनं सर्वात्मस्नपनं परं विजयते श्रीकृष्णसङ्कीर्तनम्। हरेर्नाम हरेर्नाम हरेर्नामैव केवलं ततो नास्त्येव 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 गतिरन्यथा। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। They missed hearing your ulu ulu. Believe it or not, we had 5 minutes of technical difficulties.
Because I wasn't here?
The speaker, something just stopped working. It just all stopped working.
Oh, that's my fault. Sorry, everyone.
It's not her fault.
I was with Vrindavan Vilasini Didi.
We don't know what happened.
Anyway, we're all here now.
Jai.
Thakurji's been dressed.
Yes, if you want to see them close up, then hang out until the end and you will have close-up darshan.
They are amazing.
Superbly splendid. Radhe Radhe. Gurudev baro kripa kori Gauravano maje. Gurudev baro kripa kori Gauravano maje. Godru me diyacho stano. Page 33 by Srila Bhaktivedānta Thakur. Gurudev baro kripa kori Gauravano maje. Godru me diyacho stano. Gurudev baro kripa kori Gauravano maje. Godru me diyacho ব্যাধিনামরে এ ব্রজে বসি হরি নাম করো গান ব্যাধিনামরে এ ব্রজে বসি হরি নাম করো গান বড় কৃপা করি গৌরাবন মাঝে গোদ্রুমে দিয়াছো স্থান বড় কৃপা করি গৌরাবন মাঝে গোদ্রুমে দিয়াছো স্থান কিন্তু কবে প্রভু যোগ্যতায়র পিবে এ দাসেরে দয়া করি কিন্তু কবে প্রভু যোগ্যতায়র পিবে এ দাসেরে দয়া করি চিত্ত স্থির হবে সকল সহিব একান্তে ভজিব চিত্ত স্থির হবে সকল সহিব একান্তে ভজিব গুরুদেব বড় কৃপা করি গৌরাবন মাঝে মধুমে দিয়াছো স্থান বড় কৃপা করি গৌরাবন মাঝে মধুমে দিয়াছো স্থান শৈশব যৌবনে জর সুখ সঙ্গে অভ্যাস হইল মন্দ শৈশব যৌবনে জর সুখ সঙ্গে অভ্যাস হইল মন্দ নিজ কর্ম দোষে এ দেহ হইল ভজনের প্রতিবন্ধ নিজ কর্ম দোষে এ দেহ হইল ভজনের প্রতিবন্ধ অপর কৃপা করি গৌরাবন মাঝে গোধূমে দিয়াছো স্থান গুরুদেব বড় কৃপা করি গৌরাবন মাঝে গোধূমে দিয়াছো স্থান বার্ধক্যে দেখো পঞ্চরোগে হাত কেমনে ভজিব বার্ধক্যে দেখো পঞ্চরোগে হাত কেমনে ভজিব কাঁদিয়া কাঁদিয়া তোমার চরণে কাঁদিয়া কাঁদিয়া তোমার চরণে করিয়াছি সুবিভাব করিয়াছি সুবিভাব গুরুদেব বড় কৃপা করি গৌরাবন মাঝে গোধূমে দিয়াছো স্থান বড় কৃপা করি গৌরাবন মাঝে গোধূমে দিয়াছো স্থান Guru Parampara, Guru Parampara, Guru Parampara, Guru Parampara, Parampara, Guru Parampara. Shri Gurudev ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Rupanuga Guru Varga ki jai, Shri Guru Parampara ki jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Gaura Premanande Hari Hari Bol. O Rei Vaishnava Thakur, Doyara Sagar. Page 39 by Srila Bhaktivedānta Thakur. Dandava Pranama Vaishnavas. Who do I see here? Gopal, Kamala, Anjali, Tatiana Young, that is Taguni, and so many who came before that. Radhe Radhe, Dandava Pranama. O He Vaishnava Thakuro, Doyar Sagaro, E Dase Koruna Kori. O He Vaishnava Thakuro, Doyar Sagaro, E Dase Yapado chaya shodho he amare, yapado chaya shodho he amare, tomaro charano dhori, tomaro एकाकी आमा नाहि पाइब हरि नाम संकीर्तने एकाकी आमा नाहि पाइब हरि नाम Vrindavan Thakur ki jai. Shri Rupa Manjari Pada Same or Sampada, page 50, and that is by Srila Narottam Das Thakur. She just said, Thakurji, you're so bright you can't even see them. Can you see them now? It reminds me of that verse from Sri Ishopanishad. Please remove your dazzling effulgence so that I can see you. Yes. Shri Rupa Gosvāmī Pad ki jai. Shri Rupa Manjari Pada Se Moro Sampada Shri Rupa Manjari Pada Se Moro Sampada Se Moro Bhajana Pujana Se Bhajana Pujana Se mor prano dhano Se mor abharana Se mor prano dhano Se Se mor jivaner jivana Se mor jivaner jivana Se mor jivaner jivana Se Jivaner Jivan Se Morasanidhi Se Mor Mancha Siddhi Se Morasanidhi Se Mor Mancha Siddhi Se mor vedera dharana Se mor vedera dharana Se brata Se tapa Se mora mantra japa Se tapa Se moro mantra japa Se mor dharma karama Se mor Goswami Pad ki jai, Śrī Sanātana Gosvāmī Pad ki jai, Śrī Satyavrata Gosvāmi Prabhu ki jai. Sudevi, can you do me a favor and get me that shutter for my back? Thank you.
Where's, oh, this one?
That one. I would have had to get up.
I know. Is that enough?
Yes, no, it's good. Okay. Uh-oh. Today. Dandavat pranam all Vaishnavas. I see a comment from Sudevi Devi Dasi, Seva breeds Seva. In this connection, many years ago, I think it was 2008, when we were brought before Gurudev, Sudevi and I were voted into a particular position which we were a little bit weary of, because Gurudev had ordered us to travel the world and preach, and he didn't want us to become too bound in anything else, management and all of this kind of thing. But anyhow, there were big meetings under the auspices of Srila Gurudev. He wanted all to attend, and he personally hand-selected about 100 devotees to be, what is it called? Advisory council members of his Sangha. And they were to be something like overseers to make sure that everything would be maintained properly in his name. And that included the sannyasis, senior disciples of Srila Prabhupada, the eminent householder couples, and the preachers, those who were authorized to preach on behalf of Gurudev. So there were about 100 devotees. And then of that advisory council was supposed to vote for executive committee members. And so we were voted onto that. And there were meetings for 6 hours a day, if not more, during the entire Kartik. And Sudevi and I were quite weary of that and quite tired from it too, because so many hours and hours and hours of meetings. And I felt like my Kartik was getting taken away. So finally, they brought us in front of Srila Gurudev and said, they volunteered. And we said, no, we have not volunteered. We did not volunteer. We wanted to make that very clear to Srila Gurudev that we weren't making any executive decision on our own to do anything different than what he was ordering. So they said, anyhow, they were voted into this position. And so, we just wanted to let you know and get your permission for it. And Gurudev's like, how long will it take? And they said, just like half an hour a day, not so much, something like that. Then Gurudev said, anyhow, then, no harm. The result of seva is more and more seva.
But he wanted that our main seva was prominent and that was added to that time.
Later on, at the end of Kartik, we went to him and we actually mentioned that the entire Kartik was taken up with meetings, and there was a lot of energy that was going into it, and we were concerned that we will not be able to fully engage our attention and mind in the seva that he gave us. And so I asked him personally and privately, what do you want us to do? And he said, preaching is your #1 priority. He said, if there's any time for management afterward, then you can use it for that. He said, but even if you don't use any time for management, management will go on as it always has. So he definitely gave us what his priority was. Your #1 priority is your preaching service. So anyhow, things took the course they did, but we have continued to try to do our seva to Srila Gurudev, to preach as he ordered us to do. Except in Navadvip, he did come out in the 2009 early Navadvip Parikrama meetings, and he said, this word preaching, I don't like it so much. I prefer sharing. And so preaching is one thing, sharing is sharing one's own inspiration. And preaching might be trying to force something down someone's throat who does not want it, just kind of like forcing something. So he liked that idea of sharing inspiration. So now we will call out for the mercy and the grace of Śrī Nityananda Prabhu. Śrī Nityananda Prabhu ki jai. Perhaps there's a Nitai Gaur bhajan which we don't sing very often. Let's see. Sudevi says, Parama Karuna, we don't sing very often. And she loves that one. So do I. So did Srila Prabhupada. So did all of our Guru Varga. That's page 84 by Srila Lochan Das Thakur. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakto Vrinda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakto Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakto Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakto Vrinda Parama Karuna Ahudu Jano Nitai Gaura Chandra Parama Karuna Ahudu Jana Nitai Gaura Chandra Sabayavata Sarashiromani Sabayavata Sarashiromani Kevaloyananda Bando Kevaloyananda Bhajo bhajo bhai Chaitanya Nitai Sudrito Vishwasho Kori Bhajo bhajo bhai Chaitanya Nitai Sudrito Vishwasho Kori Vishayo Chariya Sera se mojiya Vishayo Chariya Sera se mojiya Mukhe bolo Hari Hari Mukhe bolo Hari Hari Dekho re bhai Tribhuvane nai Amono doyalo data Dekho re bhai Tribhuvane nai Amono doyalo data Pashu paki jhure Pashano vidore Pashu paki jhure Pashano vidore Shuni jaro kuno gatha Shuni jaro kuno gatha Sare mojiya Rohini poriya সংসারে মজিয়া রহিলি পরিয়া সে পদে নহিল যাস আপন করম ভুঞ্জায়ে সমন আপন করম ভুঞ্জায়ে সমন কহয়ে লোচন দাস কহয়ে লোচন দাস অপরম করুণা অহুদুরে জন নিতাই গৌরচন্দ্র পরম করুণা অহুদুরে জন নিতাই গৌরচন্দ্র সবয়বতার সার শিরোমণি সবয়বতার সার শিরোমণি কেবল আনন্দ কন্দ কেবল আনন্দ কন্দ কেবল আনন্দ কন্দ কেবল আনন্দ কন্দ জয় নিতাই গৌরাঙ্গ জয় নিতাই গৌরাঙ্গ নিতাই গৌরাঙ্গ নিতাই গৌরাঙ্গ নিতাই গৌরাঙ্গ জয় নিতাই গৌরাঙ্গ নিতাই গৌরাঙ্গ জয় নিতাই গৌরাঙ্গ নিতাই হে গৌর হে নিতাই হে গৌর হে নিতাই হে গৌর হে নিতাই হে গৌর হে पतित पावन श्री नित्यानंद प्रभु की जय प्रेम पुरुषोत्तम सच्चिदानंद गौर हरि की जय changed outfits darshan की जय 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 Vande Vishwambhara Pada Kamalam. That's in the Sanskrit section. Page 339 by Śrī Radha Mohan Das. Huh? Yes, because springtime is here, the drum is sounding beautiful again. Vande Vishwambharapadakamalam Vande Vishwambharapadakamalam Vande Vishwambharapadakamalam Vande Vishwambharapadakamalam Kandita Kali Juga Janamalam Shamalam Kandita Kali Juga Janamalam Shamalam Vande Vishwambharapadakamalam Vande Vishwambharapadakamalam Saurabhakarshita Nijajanamadhukam Saurabhakarshita जजन्मधूपं करुणखण्डितविरहवितापं करुणखण्डितविरहवितापं वन्दे विश्वम्भरपदकमलं वन्दे विश्वम्भरपदकमलं नाशितहृद्गतं मायातिमीरं नाशितहृद्गतं मायातिमीरं करनिजकान्त्या जगतामचिरं करनिजकान्त्या जगतामचिरं वन्दे विश्वम्भरपदकमलं वन्दे विश्वम्भरपदकमलं सततं विराजितं निरुपं शोभं सततं विराजितं निरुपं शोभं राधामोहनं कलितं विलोभं राधामोहनं कलितं विलोभं वन्दे विश्वम्भरपदकमलं वन्दे विश्वम्भरपदकमलं वन्दे विश्वम्भरपदकमलं वन्दे विश्वम्भरपदकमलं शचीनन्दन जय गौरहरि जय शचीनन्दन जय गौरहरि जय शचीनन्दन जय गौरहरि जय शचीनन्दन जय गौरहरि गौर हे 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 श्री सच्चिदानंद गौर हरि की जय। Ooh.
We know that cafe, don't we? Didn't we go there?
Yes, we went to that place. Anyone who knows the meaning of Vishvambhara, you will get fresh hot Garanga potatoes. First person to post the meaning of Vishvambhara. For anyone who has received their Diksha mantras, they should have some understanding of the meaning of that name of Gauranga. Okay, 2 questions have come. We see Radharaman posing as if he's playing his flute, but where is the flute? We never see him holding it. You never see Radharaman holding a flute? I've seen him holding a flute. I'll have to check the pictures that Dipanshu is sending me 5 times a day. He sends me pictures from Mangal Arti time, every Arti. They what? They might not have the whole...
Fingers are too delicate.
His fingers are too delicate, Sudevi said, so they sometimes lean it on him, but you don't see him
Yes,
playing it like...
his fingers, they just don't do it because they could break. They're really delicate.
Did you hear that? He's very delicate. So...
That's what I've heard.
Okay.
And maybe they're a little small, but they're big.
And how to balance time between chanting and other seva. Gurudev says should chant 64 rounds. If complete 64, then there's no more time. Srila Gurudev used to wake up at 2 o'clock or 2:30 every morning, and before Mangal Arti, it was his principle, he would chant 32 rounds. And then after Mangal Arti, throughout the day, at different times, he would chant another 32. That is if he was chanting 1 lakh a day. Many times, for many years, he chanted a minimum of 2 lakhs or 3 lakhs a day. 2 lakhs was when he was doing a lot of seva, but he had a little more time. 3 lakhs was when he was completely focused on Nam Bhajan, and 1 lakh when he had so much other seva, like traveling around the world and giving a couple classes and many darshans in the day, then he would chant minimum 1 lakh of Harinam every day. How to balance the time? 1 lakh, if one is actually concentrating and focusing, 1 lakh will take, depending on how long each round takes. If you are pronouncing everything and really trying to focus your mind and not being distracted here and there, 1 lakh will take a maximum of 8 hours. I have found myself in the past taking 13 hours because, well, I wasn't concentrating properly. But 8 hours, then still we have 16 hours in the day. Even if we sleep 6 hours or 7 hours, still you'll have 9 hours in the day. That's for prasadam, bathroom, working, and whatever. So how to balance one's time? It depends on what your priority is. That's the question. What is my priority? If, let's say, and I use this example a lot because it is very practically understood by everyone. If you are in love with someone and you have so many other things to do, you have to work, you have to eat, you have your toilet duties, you have so many other things. But if you're in love with someone and you get to spend time with them, then somehow you will prioritize that so that everything else will be done. So you will make sure that you get everything done so that you can spend time with the one that you will love. So the testament to our attraction to Śrī Harinam Prabhu is how we will prioritize everything else around our Harinam. Generally we think, oh, I have so many important things to do, so let me quickly finish my Harinam. One devotee said that to Srila Gurudev once. Oh, I have to finish my Harinam. And Gurudev said, you will finish your Harinam? Right? This idea that I will finish Harinam. No, we should finish everything else so that we can spend time with Harinam Prabhu. So where is my priority? Is my priority Harinam? Or is my priority eating, sleeping, mating and defending? Means all of my material duties. Or if we have other services that are essential, bhakti, like Guru Seva, then it might be that the chanting could be reduced because the result of the chanting is Seva. As we are chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, what are we praying for? O Radha, O Krishna, please engage me in your service. But still, Gurudev said, your mala should not fast. It means don't starve your mala. We should give some time, some energy, some focus. But we should try not to also be, lazy and make excuses. I learned this today on the rickshaw. One Hindi teacher jumped on the rickshaw with me and he had a chalkboard in his bag. And I said, are you a teacher? He said, yes. I said, what do you teach? He said, Hindi. And I said, I want to learn Hindi. He said, I can teach you. I said, but I am very lazy. I said, main bahut lazy hoon. How do you say lazy in Hindi? He said, alsi. Main bahut alsi hoon. I said, I'm very lazy. So all of these years I've been in India for so many months every year. I lived here for 2 years as a child, and until now I still have not learned Hindi. So that means it's something which I have not prioritized in my life. Although the opportunity is all around me, I have not prioritized it. In the same way, if we do not prioritize our relationship with Krishna, then we will also not prioritize our Harinam. So depends on what we hold most valuable in our life. All of our other duties, or maybe some sevas might be there. And we should ascertain or understand if those sevas are connected or pure bhakti, whether they are Sangha Siddha Bhakti, Arop Siddha Bhakti, means that they're not actually pure bhakti, but we're making the excuse that they are bhakti. So many activities that we do that we will call bhakti, like Manushya Seva, serving humanity. Let me give donations to the poor, let me feed the poor, and this and that. It's not pure bhakti. What is pure bhakti? Anukulena Krishna Anushilanam. What is favorable for him, for his happiness, for his pleasure, for his benefit? That is Krishna's benefit, his happiness and his pleasure, directly. And how will we know? Well, we must be under the guidance of any pure Vaishnava who will direct us accordingly. Is this pure bhakti that I'm doing, or am I making an excuse that it's bhakti? And one of the ways we can tell that it is not pure bhakti is if we find ourselves going away, further and further away from Śrī Harinam Prabhu, further and further away from sadhu sangha, further away from attraction to the path of bhakti. And we find ourselves very far away. And we're like, what has happened? Well, we didn't prioritize the right things. We prioritized something else and maybe told ourselves it was bhakti when it is not. Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj, our Param Gurudev, says that this word bhakti really ultimately can only be utilized for Krishna. If you see the beautiful lecture in the Harmonist on the verse Anya Bhilashita Shunyam, which is the best definition of bhakti, he really breaks it down, and he finally gives that you should wear something so that you don't get glass in your feet.
I already have glass in my foot.
I thought you took it out. Take it. No more glass.
It's a good thing I broke it in a couple of days.
And the mirror.
I didn't break the mirror.
Neither did I. Okay. So, if we prioritize our relationship with Guru, our relationship with Gauranga, our relationship with Krishna, if we make that the important thing in our life, then we will get everything else done as quickly as possible so that we can spend quality time with Guru, Gauranga, Radha and Krishna. That will be the proof. It's just a change in consciousness. Instead of being worldly conscious, we should become Krishna conscious. Always conscious of Krishna. So our Srila Prabhupada would always say, we should dovetail that same energy, that same enthusiasm, the same attraction that we have for everything in this world. When dovetailed means take that energy and channel it toward Krishna, and that will open the doors to perfection. Sri Kapila Dev is telling that to his mother in Śrīmad Bhagavatam. The same attachment, the same attraction that one has to the things of this world, when applied to transcendental personalities, opens wide the doors to liberation. The same thing. And our Srila Gurudev also explained, and I remember him telling this quite vividly. I believe Sudevi mentioned something of it the other day. Srila Gurudev was explaining that to take someone who is like a dry jnani. Dry jnani means their heart is not flowing with any ras. They're only tattva and siddhant, philosophy, but no attraction, no rasa. To take someone whose heart is dry and to turn them toward ras is very, very difficult. But someone who is fully attached and attracted to this material world, with so much attachment, because they have experience of what that is. Because they have experience of that, For them, it's very easy to just take it and rechannel it. You just take that and channel it toward Krishna. The same attraction. And Rupa Goswami confirms this in Sri Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. And we've heard this verse again and again. And really it's the mood of the gopis. Just as any housewife who may be attached to any beloved outside of her home is doing everything at home as good or better than ever before, so that the mood of her heart cannot be detected. Similarly, one should be for Krishna. It means if you develop your attraction, your attachment for Krishna, then naturally everything else will become insignificant. You will maintain your social etiquettes, but your mind and heart will be there. And Mahaprabhu ordered Raghunath Das Goswami to do the same. Go home, be like normal in the world so no one can detect what is going on in your mind and heart, but within your heart and mind always remember and serve Krishna. By remembering and serving Krishna, one will develop attachment for Krishna. By developing attachment for Krishna, automatically all attachments to everything mundane will gradually disappear. So it is the shift in consciousness which is necessary. And that shift in consciousness will take place due to association with those who have pure Krishna consciousness. Yes?
Krishna Prema Bhakti is saying that we need taste for chanting, but
Hold on, I have to look back. No? I don't see the Krishna Prema Bhakti comment.
Really?
Oh, there. We need taste for chanting. How does one get taste for chanting? Rupa Goswami tells in the 7th verse of Upadeshamrita, Syat Krishna Nama Charitari Sitapya Vidya Pito Patapta Rasanasya Narochikanu Kintvādarād Anudinam Kalushaiva Jushta Svadvi Kramad Bhavati Tad Gadamulahantri. In the beginning, we might not have taste. Srila Bhaktivedānta Trivikram Mahārāja says, why do we not like to love Krishna? Because all we have ever known is trying to serve our own senses. And to love Krishna means you have to negate your own senses and exclusively focus on serving his senses. Well, this seems foreign to us for now. And so we don't like to love Krishna because it doesn't please our senses. All we've ever known is trying to satisfy our own senses. Atmindriya pratibhancha tare balekam. That is known as lust. Krishnendriya priti icha dhare premanam. To serve the transcendental senses of Krishna, this is known as prem. So, how do we develop taste? So Rupa Goswami says, in the beginning, it will taste bitter maybe. Even Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, happiness in the mode of goodness is like poison in the beginning, nectar in the end. Happiness in the mode of passion is like nectar in the beginning and poison in the end. Happiness in the mode of ignorance is like poison in the beginning and poison in the end. Or is it nectar in the beginning? No, poison and poison. Of course, for those who have real taste in Harinam, they will taste Harinam as being sweet. Nectar in the beginning, nectar in the middle, nectar in the end, nectar forever. Harinam Amrita. It is nectar through and through. But for us who are conditioned or souls who are covered by Maya, that's another point I wanted to share something about. So for us jivas who are covered by Maya, technically all we have ever known is this selfish, self-serving tendency. Now, how do we get rid of that? So Rupa Goswami is saying, in the beginning it might be bitter because we're sick. How are we sick? We have a superimposition over our Atma. Some kind of weird growth. And the growth changes shape all the time. And that growth is made of all kinds of gross stuff like pus, blood, mucus, stool, bile, bones, skin, hair, all kinds of stuff. It's a growth, and it's toxic, And it also comes with its own sets of desires. So in the beginning, it might taste bitter. But just like one who is diseased with jaundice, when your body is the color of the cap of this bottle, and definitely your eyeballs are the color of that. I know because I've had it before. If you continue to take Krishna Nam, it acts like sugar candy. In the beginning it will taste bitter, but gradually, as it is purifying your system, refined sugar, mishri, it'll purify your system, and gradually you will start to taste the sweetness. When you continue. But to be able to really follow that process properly, one must be under the guidance of an expert doctor and follow the prescription of that doctor. When one is under the guidance of and following the prescription of the doctor, then one can actually make progress in the progression of removing their illness and awakening their original or true nature. So taste is something that is not something that we can just manifest on our own. Ruchi, or real taste, is a function of association with those who are actually tasting. That's why Rupa Goswami tells, in the essence of all advice, iti upadesha saram, that what one should do is constantly under the guidance of the eternal associates of the Lord, always remember and chant and glorify Krishna's names, forms, qualities, and pastimes. 24 hours a day, without cessation, but under guidance. Because bhakti by its nature is defined as well as being under guidance. Anukul means anugatya as well, under guidance. This is necessary, otherwise it cannot be considered bhakti. Because bhakti also is awakened or manifested, awakened in the heart by association with bhaktas. So then taste will come. Real taste. What is the proof of real taste? Well, Rupa Goswami tells it. He's paraphrasing Srimati Radhika, and I know I've quoted this verse a lot. Tunde tandavani ritim vitonate tundavani labdhaye. One tongue is insufficient. How much nectar is in the name of Krishna in these two syllables? Millions of tongues are required to taste that nectar. Millions of ears are required to drink that nectar. So this is proof of real taste, real ruchi. If I've actually tasted Krishna Nam to any true extent, then I will not want to then go and eat the sewage, drink the sewage of this material world. So until that time that we've had real taste, true taste, we must be in the association of or under the guidance of any Braj Rasik Vaishnava who will bestow upon us Krishna. Krishna prapti hoy jaha hoite. And by their mercy, taste will come. By their mercy, strong conviction, nishta, ruchi, ashakti, bhav will come gradually as we are following their directions. Srila Prabhupada called it the science of Krishna consciousness. And if you follow the scientific process properly, anyone will attain the result if you apply it properly. If you apply it improperly, or don't apply it properly, then you will get some other result, naturally. When we were in chemistry class in university, our teacher was, one teacher actually made a mistake while trying to show us something, and he blew up a massive glass bottle and it shattered and scattered glass over the first 3 rows of students. But one teacher was telling us that if you have a powerful acid and a powerful base, each one of them on their own is capable of eating through metal. Hydrochloric acid digests all of the food in our stomachs. Sodium hydroxide, it will just melt the skin off your hands. So powerful. If you follow the process and just put one small drop at a time from one into the other, it's called buffering. Anyone who's taken this in science, you will understand this. Gradually, step by step, then this will begin to change because of the chemical reaction which is taking place. What will you get at the end when it comes to its balanced position? You will get from sodium hydroxide and hydrochloric acid. Powerful base on one extreme and a powerful acid on the other extreme. You will end up with a neutral solution. Simple table salt and water mixed. Salt water. That's it. If you try to pour the whole thing into the other one at once, all at once, what will happen? Boom! Massive explosion. So if we follow the process, then we can attain the result. If we try to do it our own way, separate from being under the guidance of Guru and separate from following the process, then we can have a dangerous negative reaction. Srila Gurudev used to actually walk the caterpillar. He called it an inchworm, down his arm. One step, he said, first 1 foot down, then the other foot up. Then that one firmly fixed, then the next foot down. Like this, and he would walk it down his arm. He was very descriptive with his hand gestures. You should see how he did the mridanga. He didn't have a mridanga, but he went like this. So, and when he would shoot a gun, he would be like this. And of course, we all saw him how he would play the flute. He said, if you try to jump to the top of the tree all at once without gradually climbing up, he said, then in that process, you will fall and smash your arms and legs and head. If you just try to jump to the top, you should follow the process and move step by step gradually. Make sure you have a firm footing and then move to the next level and the next level. So safety first. If we want to attain a ruchi, ado guru parashray. First, sadhu sangha. Ado shraddha, then shraddha. I'm going through what is mentioned in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. Ado shraddha. But before that faith comes, you need to have some kind of association with the Vaishnava. So there's a preliminary sadhu sangha, which brings the initial faith. And then that faith brings one to further association with sadhus. So there's a preliminary shraddha, then sadhu sangha, association with Vaishnavas. Then ado shraddha. First of all, faith. Tata sadhu sangha. Thereafter, associating with Vaishnavas, with Shri Guru and Shiksha Guru, Diksha Guru. Tato sadhu sangha tab bhajana kriya. And on their instruction, we engage in the path or the process of bhakti. All of the processes of bhakti that we undertake are called together bhajan. Bhajana kriya. The activities of bhajan. As a result of that, tato nartana vritti syat. Gradually all anartas become eliminated. Tato nishtha. From that, we develop firm conviction, unbreakable conviction. Tato nishtha. From that, when that is very, very strong on that platform, then ruchi, taste, comes. So we were starting with taste. Then, tato nishta ruchishtata asaktis tad gunakyane pritis tad... Oh, I'm going in a different... I was going into the definition of madhyam. Sorry. Where was I? Ado shraddha tata sadhu sangha tab bhajana kriya tato nartana vritti sa tato nishta ruchishtata. So from there, then you have nishta, ruchi, asakti, bhav, then prem. So ruchi comes. Srila Gurudev Bhaktivedānta Nārāyaṇa Gosvāmī Mahārāja explained something about ruchi. He said ruchi is one thing, it is not two things. And then he gave an example. He said you cannot fit two swords into one single sword sheath, one single sword case. Which means you either have ruchi for this material world, taste for the material things of this world, or taste for Krishna Bhakti, you don't really have taste in both. Not true. If you have true ruchi in Krishna, then you will not have ruchi for the material. And if you have true ruchi for the material, then you won't really have ruchi or taste for Krishna. And then he described different kinds of ruchi. There's the kind of ruchi or taste where I like the kirtan because sweet harmonium playing, sweet mridanga, sweet singing, it's pleasing to my ears. Oh, look how beautiful Thakurji are. Oh, it's pleasing to my eyes. I like. It's what's pleasing to me. That kind of ruchi. Then there's another kind of ruchi, which is a much deeper, more true kind of ruchi. Srila Gurudev said, for most, if you hear a beautiful, nice kirtan, you'll want to be there. But if any Mahabhagavat or pure Vaishnava is in the corner, weeping and crying, and he cannot sing on tune or on beat, his voice is choked up, we'll like, oh, I don't want to be there. I want to be in this nice kirtan. But any pure devotee, any real devotee would be attracted, or I want to be in that place where any pure devotee is manifesting his moods of love and affection for Krishna. That's a different kind of ruchi. So, when will that come? Kabe habe bolo se dinayamar aparadha guchi shudha name ruchi. Bhaktivedānta Thakur is saying, when will that day manifest in my life? Kabe habe bolo se dina amar, that day. Aparadha guchi, when my offenses will leave. Shudha name ruchi. And the taste for the pure holy name of Krishna will manifest in my life. Kripa bole habe hridaye sanchar. When will that mercy come into my heart? So, really it is a function of the association of Vaishnavas. By being in their association, a greed will develop because of seeing their nature. Whatever association we're in, we will become like that. Jiva Goswami says, he compares it to, and by the way, this is not referring to the intrinsic nature of the jiva. This is a different subject matter altogether. Some people have blended the two together, but we should understand things according to their context. Whatever association we're in our current external situation, it is like any clear gemstone over any colored cloth, Jiva Goswami says. So if you put it over purple, it reflects purple. If you put it over red, it reflects red. If you put it over yellow, it reflects yellow. If we associate with Vaishnavas, we will develop Vaishnav-like qualities. If we associate with Avaishnavas, non-devotees, or atheists, or Mayavadis, or lusty persons, or offenders, then we will also develop those qualities. So Srila Gurudev said association is the most essential thing, the most important thing. Where we associate and how we associate. This is so important and essential for us. If we associate with Vaishnavas, not just equals, because if we're all in the lowest grade together, then how are we going to really help each other to progress to the next and the next level? We must try to associate with more advanced Vaishnavas. This is the definition of proper association. In the lack of that kind of association, then we can help to encourage one another. And also take association of Shastra. And when the opportunity for more advanced association comes, then even we can put the books down, we can bring all of our friends with us and run and hear from those persons. And that will inspire us, move us to go forward, to awaken our greed. And when that greed becomes strong, then we will develop natural attraction for tasting the transcendental thing. So taste will come as a result of that intense greed. To the degree that we become desperate for Krishna by the association of his pure devotees, to that degree, then we will begin to appreciate and develop an attraction for tasting the holy names of Krishna. And really, ruchi is part of bhakti. So tasting it is not actually just something for my pleasure. Real tasting means the attraction to wanting to serve and please Krishna is increasing more and more and more. And that culminates in prem, and then that continues to go forevermore. To whom do we associate, dear Sudevi Ji and Kishori Mohan Prabhu? With whom? Right now, with all of you. At this point in time, we are in a stage of praying. Many Vaishnavas have come into our lives since Srila Gurudev's departure, physical departure from our vision. Srila Bhakti Kamal Govinda Mahārāja came into our lives and gave us so much affection and inspiration. And Srila Bhaktivedānta Bharati Mahārāja came into our lives, gave us so much inspiration and affection. If we have any questions, then we also refer to Shyamrani Didi, we refer to Pujapad Madhav Maharaj, Pujapad Ban Maharaj, and many Vaishnavas, Madhava Priya Prabhu.
But not in the same way with Gurudev.
Yeah, not in the same way that we did with our Srila Gurudev, but there are senior Vaishnavas and questions do come up.
Disciples by Jantimala Didi,
Vrindavan Vilasini Didi, by Jantimala Didi, so many.
Many.
Yes, so many. But in terms of the person that we would surrender to, that we would consider for us the same as our Gurudev, whom I would fully fall at their feet and surrender to, at this point, my heart has not, it has not been pulled from my heart at this point.
Hasn't revealed himself
For any
yet.
particular personality, although I have so much appreciation, honor, and respect for so many. But thank you for your question. Wow. Looks like, okay. Nice notes there, Krishna Premavati. Do these things come step by step? Or ruchi may come before then other things. Although we see in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita that these things are mentioned, thereafter this will appear and thereafter this will appear. Our Guru Varga have explained that it's not necessarily mutually exclusive in terms of that one is going and then this one has to achieve its perfection before the next one begins. We're given some kind of general idea and we're given a term. Ado Shraddha, Tatas, Sadhu Sangat, Tabbajana Kriya, Tato Nartana Vritti Syat. So it's not that all of your anarthas are completely dispelled before ruchi comes. And it's not that bhajana kriya stops and then anartana vritti starts. So we have to see it like this. These are all kind of happening all at the same time. In fact, Shraddha never stops. Basically, if Shraddha continues to grow more and more, then it becomes Nishtha. Then if it grows more, it becomes Ruchi. So actually the seed of Nishtha and the seed of Ruchi and the seed of Prem are already there in Shraddha. Therefore, Narottam Das Thakur has stated emphatically in his bhajan Shri Guru Charana Padma, Prema Bhakti Jaha Hoite. We can look and say, well, I haven't attained Prema Bhakti. And then avidya vinasha jate. By the effect of prema bhakti's manifesting in our heart, by the mercy of Sri Guru, then avidya vinasha jate. All ignorance, all anarthas will be destroyed. So we cannot say, well, I have attained perfection yet. No, prema bhakti starts off in its seed form known as Shraddha. And from there, that is the first particle of prem. From there it grows more and more and more. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's example, which we can find in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita when he was speaking to Rupa Goswami, is extremely practical in terms of what we're discussing. He tells Rupa Goswami, Brahmanda Brahmite Kon Bhagyavan Jeev Guru Krishna Prasade Pai Bhakti Lata Bij. The Jiva, any fortunate Jiva who's wandering throughout the universes, by the mercy of Krishna attains Guru. Yasya Prasada Bhagava Prasado Yasya Prasada Nagati Kutopi. Guru Krishna appears in their life. And from Guru Krishna we receive their association in the form of sadhu sangha, which awakens within our hearts the desire or the inclination, the tendency to serve Krishna. This is known as Krishna Seva Vasanam. And that is really what is meant by the term Bhakti Lata Bij, which is exactly translated as the seed of the creeper of devotion. Lata means creeper. You know, like any plant that is growing and winds itself around. And so Mahaprabhu says, by Shravan and Kirtan, by hearing and chanting, then this is watering that. And he explains how to protect it, how to be careful for all the weeds, how to keep the mad elephant out of your garden. And when that creeper grows more and more, eventually it will bind itself firmly to the lotus feet of Krishna, whereafter it will manifest the fruit of Krishna Prem. I always wondered who will taste that, Krishna or us, but anyhow, from that we will be able to serve Krishna purely, and we will experience what it is like to love and serve Krishna purely. Okay. So we sang up to Vande Vishwam Bharapada Kamalam. Did I answer the questions? I can't remember, Sudevi. Do you remember? Okay. So now we will call out the mercy of Krishna. And Srimati Radhika together. Anupama, Madhuri, Jodi. Oh, sorry, Bhajahuremana. See, I knew I forgot something. Thank you, Sudevi. Bhajahuremana, Shri Nandanandana, Abhaya Charanarabindare for Krishna. Then Anupama, Madhuri, Jodi. So what page is Bhajahuremana? Page 137. 137. I have a simple principle. And that principle is, if I myself don't feel spontaneously within my heart the inclination to fall at someone's feet and surrender to them, like I did with, well, I can't say I surrendered to, but at least I have belief, very strong belief that my Gurudev can give me all of my transcendental requirements, but there's a spontaneous pulling of the heart. If I don't feel that for someone then I cannot point anyone, oh, you should go to them. If I myself wouldn't do it, then if I'm going to tell someone else to do it, it means that I'm cheating them from my own heart's perspective. Oh, you won't do it, but you're going to point someone else there. So, for me, I'm responding again to Taruni's question. It's not that there are not qualified personalities, but the individual jiva has an individual connection with Krishna, and Krishna manifests to that individual jiva according to that individual jiva's necessity. So previously I've told you that I have met personally, well, I've met Srila Prabhupada, but I have met personally Srila Gaur Govinda Maharaj and Bhakti Swarup Damodar Maharaj. And although I was astounded by the extreme amount of faith that Srila Gaur Govinda Maharaj had, I mean, I remember telling my father, I think he's the real deal. And I was surprised how much faith he had in Bhagavatam that he would glorify it for 45 minutes before even starting the verse. But at that time, my consciousness was so covered and dense, not like a brick. Bricks are easy to break. It was like steel, really, really hard. I wasn't able to properly appreciate him at that time. Due to association with his disciples, but especially my Gurudev, years later, then, and also Sudevi, she found him before I did. She actually introduced me to him, in a sense. But then we became crazy for him. So, at that time, it wasn't my time. And then on the same day, I met Srila Gurudev Bhaktivedānta Nārāyaṇa Gosvāmī Mahārāja and Srila Bhakti Pramod Puri Gosvāmī Mahārāja in 1996 during the Navadvip Parikrama time. Same day, when I met my Srila Gurudev, Srila Bhaktivedānta Nārāyaṇa Gosvāmī Mahārāja, he extracted my curiosity, my honor, the feeling that I want to learn from you and I can bring my friends to learn from you. And it was just natural. And I met Srila Bhakti Pramod Puri Maharaj, whom is also more than qualified to give all the transcendental necessities. And years later, by the mercy of my Gurudev, I really began to understand and appreciate what Srila Bhakti Pramod Puri Maharaj had given. But at that time, what I received from him, or what I saw in him, was a beautiful Vaishnava, respect and honor. But it was not the same as for my Gurudev. Whereas for someone else, it might be like that for Srila Bhakti Pramod Puri Maharaj, and not the same for Srila Bhaktivedānta Nārāyaṇa Gosvāmī Maharaj. So Krishna manifests to the individual jiva according to their requirement and necessity. And it's not like it's all one. For some it will be one way, and then maybe they'll take shiksha later from another one. Like that. So it is an individual process. When, where, and how Krishna chooses to manifest that personality for whom our spontaneous attraction and submittance will manifest from the heart, that is up to Krishna. Srila Gaur Govinda Maharaj said, what is our function, our duty? To cry and weep for Krishna, for his mercy, to beg for that mercy. Our time and our tears. And the rest is Krishna's business, to send or to manifest the necessary association to help us. It's not that they're not all qualified. It's just that who will pull my heart? I don't want to jump into something without having that attraction. And Srila Gaur Govinda Maharaj said, if you follow that process, then Krishna will manifest in front of you in the form of Sri Guru, spontaneously and miraculously. So we are praying for that, crying for that together. How and when and where, that is Krishna's business. how he will touch my heart. And the rest has to come from my own sincere moods, my own prayer, my own tears. This, what you're saying here, I regret not running after Srila Gurudev, Srila Nārāyaṇa Mahārāja when I had the chance, because of all the negativity that was being spread. If that feeling is growing in your heart, this mood of, I missed that opportunity, and even that feeling of tears, oh my God, what happened? I missed the boat, I missed the boat. Srila Gurudev explained, what is the sole reason for the disappearance of Sri Guru from our vision in this world? It is to increase our longing, to increase that mood of desperation. And by that, one, we will begin to serve even more. But two, we will call, through that feeling of separation and desperate need, we will call the mercy of Krishna, who will manifest before us, according to our necessity, as Sri Guru. Because Guru Tattva is an eternal principle. It's not some thing that only happened then and here. Guru Tattva is always an eternal reality. Guru Tattva is in essence the mercy of Krishna. It's just when our crying and desperation for that mercy is enough that Krishna hears that and he chooses to respond. And I'm using the word choose because a beggar cannot force anyone to give them money, but they can weep in such a way that that person might feel pity on you and give you some of their mercy and help you out. So Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada said, we should understand that we are not the masters. Krishna is the master. He is not some servant in our garden that we can demand, you do this, you do that. Rather, we should prepare our hearts, make our hearts in such a way to be able to receive the mercy when he chooses to give it. But all the while, we should be crying and praying for that mercy. That means our practices of sadhana. The practices of sadhana are showing that I am sincere, I want to receive your mercy. Look, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Please notice me. Please see me. It's the flare. You know, you're in a boat in the middle of the ocean. Your sails have ripped and you have no motor and you're stuck all alone in the middle of the ocean, but you do have something, a flare gun. You shoot that and it makes light in the sky. And then that signals anyone who might be in the vicinity that someone needs help. So if we're practicing and really endeavoring, like Srila Gaura Govinda Maharaj said, the sound of the jiva crying for Krishna, calling out in desperation for Krishna, the sound of the jiva crying for Krishna is the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Like it is said, when someone is sincere, Guru himself manifests in front of them. But how can a fallen soul become sincere, since isn't it Guru who makes him sincere? Sudevi just commented, suffering can make one sincere. In Śrīmad Bhagavatam it is mentioned that the child within the womb is suffering so intensely. I know this is different than what most people think, but being trapped inside a bag, having to breathe amniotic fluid, you cannot move for months upon months, and you have to suffer so many germs and insects, little microscopic things, creating so much discomfort. At such a time, the suffering is so acute, so intense, that jiva becomes aware and begins to pray to the Lord within the womb. I vow I will not do this again. I will surrender my life to you. I promise. So there is a point in time within every jiva's journey when it is trapped in such a desperately suffering situation where it is calling out to the Lord in desperation. Unfortunately, as soon as we're born, instead of everyone going, Hari Bol, may you become a pure devotee of Srimati Radharani, like Prabhupada's father did for him, our parents go, oh, look, it's a cute boy, you wear blue, and it's a girl, you wear pink. Oh, you're so beautiful. You're meant to be loved. You're meant to be the center of this universe. And everyone gives that child the God complex instead of engaging that child in the service of God. And that's unfortunate for that child. And they forget. Maya comes and covers completely. Now in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says there are 4 kinds of people who surrender unto him. One who's in need of wealth, one who's suffering desperately, one who's searching after truth. Do you remember? I'm sure Sonam knows this. I can't remember at the moment. So if we are not fully sincere and we're not able to attract that kind of Sri Guru into our life, we can take shelter of Shastriya Sadhu Sangha and other Vaishnavas who are inspiring us to pray for that kind of person. We can develop more sincerity by coming into the association of more senior Vaishnavas. Senior Vaishnavas mean they're not trying to distract our attention from the process of bhakti. They are endeavoring on the path of bhakti. They might not be liberated yet, but still, they're trying to focus their mind, their attention, everything on Krishna. And they don't distract me from thinking of Krishna when I associate with them. Oh, did you see that movie? Did you see this thing? Did you see, what about what's going on with the politics of this world? Oh my God, the stock market crash, blah, 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 blah. All of these nonsense things which distract us from our true essential necessity. So then we can see what is favorable association and what is unfavorable association. Who's bringing my mind again and again to Krishna? Who's bringing my mind to Krishna's devotees? Who's bringing my mind to subjects of bhakti? And who's bringing my mind to everything else other than that? And I will choose to take the association which is favorable. And in that association, all together, we can cry out as a group. Our voice will be louder to Krishna for his mercy. Group kirtan is very powerful. That's what kirtan is, real kirtan. Crying out to Krishna for his mercy. What were the gopis doing when Krishna left Rasalila? Group kirtan. Jayati te dhikam janmana braja shrayata indira shashvaratrahi daita drishyata dikshutavakas tayidrita shava tang vichimbate. When we were in Germany with our Srila Gurudev at the program near Kassel, where all those little bungalows were there, in between that, he would sing one little Nam Kirtan in between each verse. He Nanda Nandana Yashoda Jivana. Oh gosh, do you remember it? Sudevi? Hey Damodara, hey Śrīmad. Something like that. Something like that. I'll try. I have to refer back. I have a recording of it somewhere, I think. Does anyone remember that? If you remember that, if you know which way it goes, please post it. Thank you. So now we will sing Bhajo Mana Shri Nandanandana Abhaya Charanarvindare. This one, Srila Prabhupada says, pretty much encapsulates the mission of the human form of life from A to Z. He's giving instructions to his own mind, Govinda Das Kaviraj. Bhajo Mana. O mind, you should always... Bhaja doesn't just mean worship. Bhaj, the root, means to serve. And service necessarily means with love and affection. Devotional service. So, O mind, always render loving service to Sri Nandanandana. Abhaya Charanarvindare. His lotus feet will grant fearlessness. Our Srila Prabhupada explained, if you bury money and put it in something and bury it under your house, you'll always be worried. Maybe someone saw. They'll come and steal it in the night. So you can't sleep at night. But if you put it into a bank account and it's kept in a very strong safe and it's federally insured, then you will think, okay, I can sleep comfortably because it is safe. So in the same way, when you give your love, your affection, your faith and everything at the feet of Nandanandan Shri Krishna, then this will grant fearlessness. Abhaya Charanarvindare. Durlabhamanava Janama Satsange. This human form of life is extremely rare. 8,400,000 species of life, and finally you come to the human form. Finally we come to the human form, and only from the human form can one endeavor for perfection. How does one endeavor for perfection? Well, they must be in sadhu sangha. So janama satsange, durlabha manava janma, means this human birth is extremely rare. Satsange, one should take advantage of associating with saintly persons. Taraho e bhava sindure. By this process, one can cross over the ocean of nescience, or the ocean of material existence. What are we normally doing? Conditioned souls in this material world. Sita ataba bataba rishna edi nijamini jagire. In the day, in the night, in the wind, in the cold. Through all kinds of dualities. In the heat. In all kinds of difficult situations. What are we doing? Bifale sevinu. Kripan durjan. We are fruitlessly serving those persons who are selfish, self-centered misers who have nothing to do with bhakti and who want to take us away from the path of serving Krishna and rather engage us in serving them. What do I mean by this? If someone laughs at you for wearing tilak and Vaishnav dress, so then you change your Vaishnav dress and wipe off your tilak, then you're not serving Krishna and Guru and Mahaprabhu anymore, you're serving them, right? For what purpose? Chapalasukalabalagire. For just a little bit of flickering happiness, now I'm accepted. Or in this case, maybe a little bit of momentary happiness in our day. We work so hard in all kinds of situations so that we can have a couple minutes of enjoyment. We come home from work, we eat a good meal, we laugh with our friends and family, maybe a little sensual pleasure, and then sleep. And then again, repeat. Like a broken record, again and again and again and again and again and again for trillions and uncountable lifetimes. Edhana, our wealth. Jovana, our youth. Putra, our children. Parijana, our friends and family and followers. Ite kiyache paratitire. They cannot give us any assurance. They cannot help us at the time of death. Kamal daljal jivana talamala. This life, this very valuable, rare human form of life, or any life, but this rare, valuable human form of life, because it is the only way to, the only opportunity we get to endeavor for perfection, is so fragile, like a drop of water on the petal of a lotus flower. One little breeze, and oh yeah, finished. So, he's saying, how fragile is it? So don't waste your time, don't waste your energy. Bhajahu haripada nitire. One should engage their mind, their body, their words, their everything in serving the lotus feet of the Lord. And then he tells us how. 9 processes of bhakti. Shravana, hearing. Kirtan, doing kirtan. That also means glorifying Krishna's names, forms, qualities, and pastimes. Smaran, remembering. Bandhana, offering prayers. Padasevana, serving his lotus feet. Dasya, becoming a servant. Pujana, serving. It's puja. Sakhi Jan. Sakhi Jan here is translated as, it doesn't even say it directly, but Sakhi means Gopi and Jan means those personalities. Like Gopi Jana Vallabha, Gopi Jan here is Sakhi Jan. Atmanivedan means completely giving up my independent mood. Atma Nivedan. Some people will say that Nivedan means to cease to exist, to actually like merge my Atma. There's a concept like that. Atma Nivedan does not mean to merge because Krishna says eternally separated parts and parcels and they cannot be mutated. So then what is the meaning of merging? It's not possible. That's a mutation. So what is the meaning of Atma Nivedan? It means my body, my mind, my words, my everything exclusively surrendered at the lotus feet of the Lord. And Govinda Das is saying, this is my cherished desire. Govinda Das, Abhilash means my desire. Abhilashare. So now we will sing this bhajan in Bhairavi Rag. Just so you know, the rag that we sing that is known as Bhairavi. Bhajahu re mano Śrī Nandanandano Abhaya charanaro vindare Bhajahu re mano Śrī Nandanandano Abhaya charanaro Durlabhamanava janama sata sange Durlabhamanava janama sata sange Taro ho e bhava sindhure Taro ho e bhava sindhure Bhajahu re Chapala sukhalabha lagire Chapala sukhalabha lagire Bhajahu re mano Śrī Nandanandano Abhaya charanaro vindare Bhajahu re mano Śrī Nandanandano पुत्र परिजन इथे कियाछे परोती तीरे ए धन्य जोवन पुत्र परिजन इथे कियाछे परोती तीरे कमल दल जल जीवन कलमरो कमल दल जल जीवन कलमरो भजहु हरि पद नीतिरे भजहु हरि पद नीतिरे भजहु रे मन श्रीनन्दनन्दन अभय चरणारो विन्दरे भजहु रे मन श्रीनन्दनन्दन अभय चरणारो विन्दरे श्रवण कीर्तन स्मरण वन्दन पाद सेवनो दासरे श्रवण कीर्तन स्मरण वन्दन पाद सेवनो दासरे पूजन सखी जन आत्मनिवेदन पूजन सखी जन आत्मनिवेदन गोविन्द दासय अभिलाषरे गोविन्द दासय अभिलाषरे भजहु रे मन श्रीनन्दनन्दन अभय चरणारो विन्दरे भजहु रे मन श्रीनन्दनन्दन अभय चरणारो विन्दरे दुर्लभ मानव जन्म सत्संगे दुर्लभ मानव जन्म सत्संगे करापहे भव सिन्धुरे करापहे भव सिन्धुरे अभय चरणारो विन्दरे अभय चरणारो विन्दरे कृष्ण हे 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 जय नन्दनन्दन जय यशोदानन्दन जय नन्दनन्दन जय यशोदानन्दन जय नन्दनन्दन जय यशोदानन्दन नन्दनन्दन जय यशोदानन्दन श्री कृष्ण कन्हैया लाल की जय। Looks like I've been directed. Oh, that is Bajore Bajore Amar 176. No, not now. Anupama Madhuri Jodi. That's in the Hindi section, 364. Anupama Madhuri Jodi. What? Yes, and I think that's also in Bhairavi Rag. It is. Anupama Madhuri Jodi Hamare Shyama Shyama Ki Anupama Madhuri Jodi Hamare Shyama Shyama Ki Rasili Ras Bhari Agiya Hamare Shyama Shyama Ki Rasili Ras Bhari Agiya Hamare Shyama Shyama Ki Chabili Hey Adama Ki Subhar Surat Madhur Batiya Chabili Hey Adama Ki Subhar Surat Madhur Batiya Tatak Garam Dano Ki Manavasya Hamare Shyama Shyama Ki Latak Garam Dano Ki Manavasya Hamare Shyama Shyama Ki Anupama Madhuri Jodi Hamare Shyama Shyama Ki Anupama Madhuri Jodi Hamare Shyama Shyama Ki Mukut Yara Chandrika Mathe Adhar Par Paan Ki Lali Mukut Yara Chandrika Mathe Adhar Par Paan Ki Lali Aho Kaisi Bali Chavi Hai Hamare Shyama Shyama Ki Aho Kaisi Bali Chavi Hai Hamare Shyama Shyama Ki Anupama Madhuri Jodi Hamare Shyama Shyama Ki Anupama Madhuri Jodi Hamare Shyama Shyama Ki Paras par मिलके जब बिहारे श्री वृंदावन की कुंज में परस्पर मिलके जब बिहारे श्री वृंदावन की कुंज में नहीं बर न तो बने शोभा हमारे श्याम श्यामा की नहीं बर न तो बने शोभा हमारे श्याम श्यामा की अनुपम माधुरी जोड़ी हमारे श्याम श्यामा की अनुपम माधुरी जोड़ी हमारे श्याम श्यामा की नहीं कुछ लाल साधन की नहीं मान की इच्छा नहीं कुछ लाल साधन की नहीं मान की इच्छा सखी श्यामा को दे दर्शन दयाहो श्याम श्यामा सखी श्यामा को दे दर्शन दयाहो श्याम श्यामा की अनुपम माधुरी जोड़ी हमारे श्याम श्यामा की अनुपम माधुरी जोड़ी हमारे श्याम श्यामा की हमारे श्याम श्यामा की हमारे श्याम श्यामा की जय राधे जय कृष्ण जय राधे जय कृष्ण जय राधे जय कृष्ण जय राधे जय कृष्ण राधे कृष्ण हे राधे हे कृष्ण हे राधे हे कृष्ण हे राधे हे कृष्ण हे वृषभानंदनी श्रीमती राधा रानी की जय श्री कृष्ण कन्हैया लाल की जय What's the time? Ooh, we have spoken for a little while. Have there been any new questions since the last? Okay. I think we might continue with Śrī Dāmodarāṣṭakam today, a little bit. Oh, look, Sudevi set up the lamp. Hare Krishna. Śrī Dāmodara ki jai. राधा विनो बिहारी जू की जय सचिनंदन गौर हरि की जय गिरिराज महाराज की जय शलग्राम शिल की जय लड्डू गोपाल की जय चौथ चौथ लड्डू गोपाल की जय. If you look close, it looks like the monkeys playing the mridanga of Gopal. Śrī Dāmodarāṣṭakam. Yes, we're still continuing Damodarasṭakam from Kartik. Tomorrow, I believe for us, is the day of Ramanujacharya. Then, or the next day is Madhva Acharya. Then there's, oh gosh, so many holy days. Coming Nityananda Trayodashi. I believe our Param Gurudev's day, if I'm not mistaken. I have to check the calendars. But it's like 7 amazing days. Oh, maybe there's a Varaha. Is it Varaha Dwadashi? Ekadashi? There's Ekadashi, Varaha Dwadashi, Nityananda Trayodashi. So it is a packed week coming up with all kinds of nectar. And we are also moving. Things are taking time because it is India after all. Just now coming means, right now coming means tomorrow. And then what happened yesterday? Tomorrow. And then again, tomorrow. So it's just how it works. I was thinking, how does anyone get anything done? But it's mutual procrastination. Then no one minds it because everyone just kind of lets everything go over time. Okay, Namamishwaram Sachidanandarupam. I shouldn't have asked the question what page it is. You all know the page. It's there. Jiva Pavana Prabhu posted it. Rudragupta put the page number. Page 290. Namam Ishwaram Sachidanandarupam. We will chant it together. I don't know which tune we're supposed to do, so I'm doing the Gaudiya tune. Namamishwaram Shachidanandarupam Satkundalam Gokule Brajaman Yashodabhiyo Lukha Radhavamanam Paramrishtamatyan Sachidanandarupam Satkundalam Gokule Brajaman Rudantamuhurnetra Yugmam Brijantam Karam Hojajumeno Satankanetram Shvasakam Trirekham Stitagraiva Damodara Bhaktivedāntam Namamishwaram Sachidanandarupam Satkundalam Gokule Brajaman Iti Drikasholilabhi Anandakunde Svaghosham Nimojantam Akyapayantam Tadiyeshitageshu Bhaktarjitatvam Punapremadastam Shatavritivam Namamishwaram Sachidanandarupam Satkundalam Gokule Brajaman Param Devamoksham Namokshabadim Va Nachanyam Brineham Vareshadapiha Idam Deva Purunatho Gopalamalam Swadami Manosyami Rashtam Kimanyaya Namamishwaram Sachidanandarupam Satkundalam Gokule Brajaman Idam te mukam bojam abhyaktalile Vritam puntalai snigdharaktaishna gopya Muhushtumbitam bimbarakthadharam Me manasya virastam valam rakshalabhai Namamishwaram Sachidanandarupam Satkundalam Gokule Brajaman Namo Devo Damodaranam Tu Vishnu Prasiddha Prabhavuka Jalabhimagnam Kripada Shri Drishtati Dinam Vatan Grihani Shama Maghyame Yakshi Grishna Namamishwaram Sachidanandarupam Satkundalam Gokule Brajaman Kuberakmajo Badhamutyai Vayadvat Damodara Radha Damodara Radha Damodara Radha Damodara Radha Damodara Radha Damodara Damodara Radha Damodara Jai Radha Damodara Radha Damodara Radhe Jai Radha Damodara Radha Damodara Radhe Shri Radha Damodar Ju ki Jai Śrī Dāmodarāṣṭakam ki Jai Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Oh Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Bolo Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna Shri Gurudeva ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Rupanuga Guru Varga ki jai, Gaura Bhaktivinoda ki jai. I looked down and I saw an interesting comment, and I understand Hindi enough to know what it means. It's by someone with the name Hangsa, which means swan. But he's saying, you are a dog, and also Krishna. So I'm thinking, as soon as I saw that, instead of becoming angry, I started laughing. One, someone is so daring to come into an assembly and say such a thing. They can do it as a keyboard warrior, but I doubt they would do it in person. And two, I'm remembering the words of Bhaktivedānta Thakur. Sarasva tomar charani sampya porechi tomar ghare, tumi to Thakur tomar kukur, boliya jana humore. He's saying, I'm offering everything at your lotus feet. You are my master, and I am like your dog. We should aspire for this kind of loyalty. Gurudev said that that's what Guru wants from the disciple. Loyalty. And eventually giving our full independence, our mood of self-righteousness and self-serving tendency. Offer that wholly at the lotus feet of Sri Guru. Bhaktivedānta Thakur is saying, I will be so happy when I see you. I will dance around you. I will only take the remnants of your foodstuff. If anyone is opposed to you, if anyone is against you, I will bark very loudly and scare them away. So this kind of mood, one should be, this is Guru Nishtha. Gurudev would always say, Guru Nishtha is the backbone of bhakti. To develop this mood of loyalty, not that I'm going to eat, meaning through all of my senses, my eyes, my nose, my ears, my tongue, my hands, through all of my senses, I'm going to extract enjoyment from the environment. No, I will only accept the remnants, the prasad remnants of Gurudev. That means my ears should only be for Harikatha. My mouth should only be for glorifying Hari Guru and Vaishnavas. My eyes should only be for seeing the beautiful form of the Lord and the beautiful forms of His pure devotees. My nose should only be for smelling the incense and the flowers offered to the Lord. All of my senses, my hand should be for touching the bodies of the pure devotees, touching their feet, or massaging Shalagram Shila, or dressing Thakurji, serving in the kitchen, cleaning the floors of the Lord. All of my senses should be utilized in the service of the Lord. This is loyalty, and this is nishtha. As Mahārāja Ambarish, that verse in Śrīmad Bhagavatam glorifying him, Savai Manak Krishna Padara Vindayor, Vachang Sivai Kunta Gunana Varnane, Karo Harir Mandir Marjanadishu. I can't remember the last line at this moment for some reason. So, he used all of his senses in the service of the Lord, starting with the mind. If the mind is used in the service of the Lord, automatically all of the other senses will follow. If the mind is not, then even if the external senses are doing it, really they're not. That one example I can give you, I was giving Gurudev a massage in Singapore. He was chanting Ashtakams under his breath, and I was massaging him. Just that Kartik, 1996, he had officially done mine and Sudevi's Vedic wedding along with 3 other couples. And immediately after that Kartik, Sudevi went back to America. I went to Malaysia to sell oil paintings, make some money. And Gurudev was there in Malaysia. So right after Kartik, maybe January or something. So I was giving him massage. And as I was giving him massage, at that moment I began to miss my wife. And Gurudev was chanting Ashtakams under his breath, but at that moment he opened his eyes, he looked at me and he said, "Your wife is calling?" And I said, "What?" He said, "Your wife is calling." I said, "I don't understand. What do you mean?" He rolled his eyes back and he said, "Just now she came in your mind." And I was like, "Yes, Gurudev." And he just went like that. And he closed his eyes and continued his Ashtakams. And I was going, oh my God, how did he know? How did he know? He knew what was in my mind, what was in my heart. The point I'm making is that I was physically massaging Gurudev's feet and his transcendental body, but my mind was thousands of miles away in America at the time. So if someone's mind is not in the service, but their body is in the service, then can it really be considered that the body is in the service? Not really. If the mind is present, then everything else will naturally follow. So with that person, yes, they're making this kind of statement. There's two ways we can go about it. One, we can philosophize it, and the other one is we can bark very, very loudly. And as disciples of our Gurudev and Guru Varga, is it worth it? One, will they even be able to receive it? Probably not. How would we bark loudly? We would speak about God being unlimited. To think that God cannot possess a form is limiting God. To only think that God is great but formless, what conception is that? And what is one's goal? What is one's goal? Is it to enjoy, or is it to love and serve God for God's purpose? What is one's goal and aspiration? One can easily just go and criticize any devotee, but what are they doing in their own private life? What are they doing in their private time? If they're only seeing dogs everywhere, then what is their nature? Srila Bhakti-Rakshak Sridhar Maharaj said this. If we look around and we see that everyone is in the prison and they're all bound, then we look at ourselves. Oh, why am I in prison with everyone else? I must also be a prisoner. I must have done something wrong to be here. So someone who can jump into a religious or spiritual assembly and just make any kind of statement like that, this shows the nature of that kind of person's mind. It is dog-like mentality. But anyhow, dogs can also get the blessings of the Vaishnavas. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he saw that there was one dog who was attached to his pure devotee. Nityananda Prabhu also saw Shivananda Sain. What did Chaitanya Mahaprabhu do? He threw some prasadam to this dog. Immediately that dog attained his transcendental nature by the mercy of Mahaprabhu. Gurudev saw that one dog in Italy daily searching for its master who abandoned him. That dog was looking at everyone who would drive up, who would come. Is it you? Is it you? You left me here. Where's my master? Where's my master? And as Gurudev was speaking about this mood of separation that this dog was experiencing from his master, who so cruelly abandoned him, immediately Gurudev remembered the moods of the gopis in Vrindavan, feeling separation from Krishna, who had left them and gone to Mathura and Dwarka. And he began to weep inconsolably. Just that, just seeing that, reminded him of the gopis. So we can look at every situation and see, how can this remind me of Krishna? For some person, they come into an assembly of Krishna, people who are trying to become conscious of God and try to bring the mind to the dog. We can go and see, okay, you're bringing our minds to dogs? Well, let's bring it back to Krishna by the medium of the mood of the dogs. I heard once also Srila Prabhupada did that. He threw a rasgulla like this, my father told me, in Mayapur. And the dog was quite a distance and he caught it like that. Prabhupada was taking, they were a little old, boom, like this. And the dog caught it. So we can aspire to have the mood of loyalty for our Guru and Krishna that a dog has for its master. Very beautiful, high mood. And it doesn't mean that we should become attached to dogs. We should become attached to Krishna, but we can learn that mood from a dog. And maybe if we don't have the qualification to learn from a dog, then we can learn from a leech. You know those black sucker things that are in the water that stick on you and suck your blood? Srila Gaur Govinda Maharaj, what did he say, Sudevi? For what? That we should hold on to the lotus feet of Sri Guru with leech-like tenacity. It means a leash just won't let go. The way they try to get leeches to let go, they put salt on them or heat or anything so that they will let go. He said we should hold on with leech-like tenacity, just never letting go. So we can learn a lot from a leech as well. So now we've got 10 minutes. Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadale Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tarbhaktaya Namo Namah Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Nama Om Vishnupadaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Śrīmad Bhaktivedānta Nārāyaṇa Namine Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Śrīmate Bhaktivedānta Swāmini Namine Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitānaṁ Pāvanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Giring Yat Kripa Tamaham Bande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam. First of all, I offer my Dandava Pranam thousands of times in the dust of the lotus feet of our beloved Gurudev, Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Vishnupad, Ashto Tarashata Śrīmad, Śrī Bhaktivedānta Nārāyaṇa Gosvāmī Mahārāja. In the same thousands of Dandava Pranam in the dust of the lotus feet of Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Vishnupad, Ashto Tarashata Śrīmad, Śrī Bhaktivedānta Swāmī Śrīla Prabhupada, and to all of our Rupanuga, Gaudiya, Guru Varga, and to all Vaishnavas past, present, and future, including all of you who are present with us today, I offer my Dandava Pranam. Sudevi.
I'm just coming. Sorry. I was just trying to get up. I was sitting there. Dandava Pranam, dear Vaishnavas. Radhe, Radhe, Radhe Sham.
Radhe Sham. So we're continuing for the next 10 minutes with this beautiful treasure, Śrī Dāmodarāṣṭakam, manifested from the heart of Śrī Satyavrata Muni, with the commentary of Śrī Sanātana Gosvāmī, followed by the translation of that commentary and the added commentary of our Param Gurudev Śrīla Bhakti Pragyan Keshava Goswami Maharaj, followed by the commentary full of ras and bhav by our Śrīla Gurudev Śrīla Bhaktivedānta Nārāyaṇa Gosvāmī Maharaj. Needless to say, this is a treasure within a treasure within a treasure within a treasure, with so many different beautiful compartments. And so before entering into this beautiful treasure and investigating these gems within it, we will call on the mercy of these divine personalities in the words of Śrī Raghunath Das Goswami. Vairāga Juga Bhaktira Samprayatnair Apayana Mam Anubhipshamandam Kripambariryaparadu Kuduki Sanatanastam Prabhum Ashrayami. Begging in the dust of their lotus feet, may even a particle of their moods, which are contained within these pages, manifest itself within our hearts. So now we are continuing with Śrī Dāmodarāṣṭakam, verse 6, which is the verse calling out the names of the Lord. We're within the commentary of our Śrīla Gurudev Śrīla Bhaktivedānta Nārāyaṇa Gosvāmī Maharaj, page 136/130. Oh, Devaki said 135, 136, but it's 136. And this verse, finally, Satyavrata Muni wanted to always have darshan of this form within his heart of Bal Gopal, who is bound by Mother Yashoda. But then that wasn't enough. This is the proof of greed. Okay, I saw that, now I want more. First he wanted that, now he wanted more. Greed increases, doesn't it, by its nature. So then he wanted to always see that face that is kissed again and again, that lotus-like face by Mother Yashoda. And coming toward that face which is kissed again and again by Srimati Radhika. But then it wasn't enough for him. His greed is increasing, seeing what Mother Yashoda is doing to Krishna's face, kissing his face again and again. He doesn't only want to see it, he also wants to serve like she is serving. So this is increasing within his heart. And the nature of that greed and the nature of increasing bhakti is that one doesn't feel satisfied, rather one is always striving for more. The proof of increasing bhakti is that you're not just content, peaceful. The burning increases more and more forever. And the feeling of inadequacy also increases at the same time. So as one is increasing in bhakti, they're feeling that they are less and less qualified, which makes that drive more and more. That is why praying by its nature continues to increase forevermore. That is known as yavat ashray vritti. Gurudev said, when you think it has hit the topmost point, when it has hit the roof, the ceiling, and you think it cannot go any further, then from there it continues to go further and further forever. This is the nature of transcendental love and affection. For it to continue to increase, that desire and the greed must be continuously increasing forever. So then, how does Śrī Satyavrata Muni, what process does he take? With the hope of attaining the mercy of Krishna so that he can also serve like Mother Yashoda is serving, kissing that face again and again. He calls out the names of the Lord. This is called Kirtan. Namo Deva Damodarāṣṭakam Vishnu Prasiddha Prabho Duko Jalabdhimagnam Kripa Drishti Vrishtyati Dinam Vatanu Grihane Shamamagyam Medyakshi Drishya Namami Shwaram Sachidananda Rupam Lasat Kundalam Gokule Vrajamanam. So, as Devaki suggested, we should do a little recap, just a slight recap from 135. So Gurudev is speaking about Uddhava. Krishna was with Uddhava in Mathura. Uddhava is known as being one of the most amazing, knowledgeable persons in all of the universe. He's full of all kinds of tattva and siddhanta, and he has love and affection for Krishna. He is so close to Krishna that Krishna says about him, or to him, that you are dearer to me than my own heart and soul. So Krishna decided to send Uddhava as his ambassador to Vrindavan. He wanted Uddhava to learn something about the love of the Brajabasis, and especially the Brajagopis, so that Krishna, who was feeling brokenhearted without anyone to communicate his feelings to, because no one could understand, he wanted to be able to communicate with someone. The gopis had each other. The Brajabasis had each other, but who did Krishna have who could understand what kind of separation he was going through? So he sent Uddhava to Vrindavan. And Uddhava wanted to enter into the university of the gopis to learn about their prema. Srila Gurudev said, he failed the entrance exam, could not even get 20%. He failed that entrance exam. Upon seeing the greatness of their love, it was like the mountain was so high, as he was looking up to see how great their love is, his top hat fell off of his head. At that point, he was feeling completely bereft and inadequate. What kind of love do I have? I don't even understand love at all. Look at the love of these gopis, especially that one who's speaking to the bumblebee. From a distance, he was able to see something. And at that point, he was thinking, I have no capacity whatsoever. Even though he remained there for 6 months, still, he felt, I have nothing. So finally, his prayer was, and 2 prayers were given, Ashamaho charanarenu jashamahangsham and bande nanda brajestrinam padurenum abhikshnasham. He's desiring to become even one blade of grass in Vrindavan, so that it may be that one particle of dust from the feet of any particular gopi, namely Srimati Radhika, might one day come on his head. That kind of complete awestruckness, complete amazement at seeing the height of the prema of the gopis and not even understanding it, but realizing at that point that I don't know anything about love for Krishna. So he stayed there for that time and he prayed and prayed, may I become any blade of grass or any shrub or anything. And Gurudev actually said, is there any proof? We know he prayed for it. It is said that he has become grass and shrubs in at Uddhav Kund in Govardhan. But Gurudev is saying, have we seen that he has actually become that? So Gurudev is saying that when Krishna concluded his pastimes in this world, a desire to attain Brajabhav awoke within Sri Uddhav's heart. This desire came by the mercy of the Brajavasis. However, we do not know if he was able to become even a particle of dust in Braj, even though he desired to become maybe a blade of grass or any shrub. So next we hear about what Sri Tulsidas said. Abapachataye hotakya jabachiriya chugagai gheta. What is the use of lamenting now? It is because of your own carelessness that birds have eaten your crops. It means you've done something and now it's already too late. So why are you lamenting about it? In other words, by Bhagavan's grace, you have taken the rare birth in the human species. If you waste it simply eating and sleeping like an animal, then you will have to remain wandering in the material world. Taking birth in one of the 8,400,000 species of life. Here it says 84 million, but actually it's 8,400,000, 84 lakh. Therefore, you should realize how trivial it is to simply exist like an animal. And you should stay determined to permanently be in sadhu sangha. So what are the qualities of an animal? Simply eating, sleeping, mating, and defending, protecting itself. Humans also have this nature, but humans have been given an extra capacity beyond that. Atato Brahma Jigyasa. Now is the time to inquire about the absolute truth, to question one's own existence, existential questioning. As Sanatana Gosvāmī asked Chaitanya Mahaprabhu for our benefit, Keyami Kenoja Eshiche Ekani. Who am I? Why am I here? Why am I suffering the threefold miseries? What is my purpose? What is my function? What is my goal? What's it all about anyway? Sanatana Gosvāmī is asking these basic, fundamental, existential questions. This is what the human form of life affords us. It gives us that opportunity to ask these questions and then to ask the important question, what is the truth? And then to actually make that endeavor toward the truth. To make that endeavor. Labdva sudurlabam idam bahusam bhavante manushyam artadam anityam apiha dhira turnam yate tanapatet anumrityavan nishreyashaya vishaya kalu sarvatasyar. Until the time when the body can no longer be maintained, one should utilize every moment in the endeavor for perfection. Śrīmad Bhagavatam tells. So, instead of just being like an animal, what can a human do? Durlabha manava janama satsange. In this rare human form of life, how should we make it? How should we make it actually count? To differentiate us from an animal. Bhagavatam will say, dvipada pashu, two-legged animal. If we don't want to just be an animal and cycle through samsara, through 8,400,000 species, then what should we do? Take association with saintly persons, satsanga. So Gurudev here is saying, be determined to permanently be in sadhu sangha. But our situation is so sad that even though we have attained the great fortune of associating with saints, our hearts remain unaffected. This is because we don't have full faith in Hari, Guru and Vaishnavas, and as a result we remain deprived of the grace of Sri Guru and Sri Bhagavan. So how do we change that? How does our heart become affected instead of unaffected? We want to be affected by the association of the pure devotees. How can that take place? There must be an endeavor on our part, something, some service, something that we do that will attract the sidelong glance, the mercy of Guru. Maybe I have no capacity, even I have no desire, but Srila Gurudev said there is something that is so powerful that can reverse that causeless unwillingness. Does anyone know what that is? Three things, three substances are so powerful that even if you have no inclination toward bhakti, it can reverse that and make you want bhakti. What are those three things? Any one of them is good enough if you answer the question. And each one will get a nice big gulab jamun. Pray for Agata Gatanapati. He said, no. Whoa, time is going fast. So, I'm just leaving it there. Prashadam, yes. Prashadam from who? Oh, very good, Devaki. Mahaprasad, dust of the feet of the pure devotee. Mahaprasad of the pure devotee. And the water that has washed their feet. Bhakta pada duli ar bhakta pada jal bhakta bhukta avashesh e teen mahabal. Mahaprabhu says these three substances are extremely powerful. Mahabal. So somehow or other, we should find out what the shortcuts are. Most of the things that our Goswamis have given us, in essence, are shortcuts. Some way, somehow or another, to awaken the desire to serve Krishna within our hearts. Because otherwise we're the tendency to be dense, to be stuck, to be trapped like ice in this material world is very strong. So if we place ourselves in a situation where we receive discipline from Sri Guru and the Vaishnavas, by that discipline our hard hearts, which are like ice due to being subjected to the freezing cold temperatures of this material world. That means cold. Cold meaning no love and affection, no warmth toward Krishna and Krishna Bhakti. But by being in the association of those whose hearts are on fire with love and service to Krishna, then these freezing hearts eventually can melt, and we can also begin to flow with love and affection toward Krishna. So Sudevi said, time is finished. Let me just read this first little paragraph so we can say that we read one thing today. Śrī Satyavrata Muni prays, Prasiddha Prabhu, O you who possess all inconceivable potencies, O Master, please be kind to me. I already told you the winners get gulab jamuns, big gulab jamun. O Master, please be kind to me. Deliver me from my pitiable mundane existence and grant me the association of your devotees. I have no hope but you. We must also pray like this. So actually, we did read this last time. So I'm just going to read it, this section, because technically we should start on page 137. And we should remember these prayers. Gurudev is telling us how to pray. O Prabhu, cast your compassionate glance upon us. When we chant your names, no tears come to our eyes, and our bodies do not tremble. We are unable to perform sadhana. We are only sustaining our ambition. Hare Krishna. We are only sustaining our ambition of attaining Braja Prem, and especially Gopi Bhav, that prem which Mahaprabhu came to give, on the hope that we will receive your merciful glance. It is only by the strength of that glance that we have any chance of attaining our goal. So before we were talking about praying for that merciful sidelong glance. Even if we continue performing sadhana bhajan, as we are now doing for millions and millions of lifetimes, it will be in vain. It will still be completely impossible for us to attain Braja Prem, especially Gopi Bhav, the topmost love in Braj. O Master, have mercy on us. Now Gurudev is telling us how we should chant this prayer. With great anguish we should cry, let me attain just a drop of Gopi Bhav. How can such a drop be obtained? It is obtained by the mercy of sadhus who are absorbed in the mood of Braja. That means Braj Rasik Vaishnavas. Thus, Śrī Satyavrata Muni says, O Prabhu, kindly grant me the association of pure-hearted saints, In their association, all of my cherished desires will be fulfilled. So I remember now, last time we mentioned how all of the pure devotees, when given the opportunity, when the Lord is giving them any offering, what would you like? I would like to give you something. Most of them pray for this: please always keep me in the association of your pure devotees, so that I can always hear your wonderful glories. I can hear about your names, forms, qualities, and pastimes. So this prayer is very powerful. If Janardhan was here, I would ask him to make it into a poster. But that prayer, Gurudev has given us this prayer from where we are now, with this feeling of complete feeling of lowliness and disqualification, but calling out anyhow, please be merciful to me. Cast upon me your sidelong glance. Give me just one drop of this Gopi Bhav, Gopi Prem. Calling out like this, the way our Gurudev said, this can also change the heart. And maybe if we cannot do it in front of others, because others tend to judge, go into any private, quiet place. Just you, yourself, your Gurudev, your Mala, Harinam Prabhu, and there cry for mercy. Cry to Gurudev. Beg for his merciful sidelong glance, that something might touch these stone-like hearts and maybe melt them a little bit, so that one day we can also weep for Krishna. Srila Gurudev ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Rupanuga Guru Varga ki jai, Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai, Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare जय गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जय हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की जय गौर भक्त वृंद की जय गाय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल It does look like the monkey's playing in Braj. Definitely does. Well, today we got a lot of guests, so I apologize for that. We have no control over that.
I tried, guys. I
Happens
really
when
tried.
You are public. So thank you all so much for giving us the opportunity to remember the beautiful teachings of our Gurudev and Guru Varga. And also, we would like to express our indebtedness to each and every one of you for daily giving us the opportunity to do our Guru Seva, which is our life and soul. We look forward to being with all of you tomorrow. Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam, dear Vaishnavas.
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.
Bihari Ju ki
Jai.
Sachinandana Gaura Hari
Ki Jai.
Laddu Gopal and his monkey with the Mridanga ki
Jai. Shivriamo dopo.
Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki
Jai.
Radhe